Hey guys, welcome to the Average Fans podcast. This is a podcast by three friends who were sitting idle one day and thought that we could give our average opinions on the wonderful plays that happened in the NBA. This podcast will have everything related to NBA, the trades, the games, the highlights, the disses, the fights, everything in this particular podcast. This podcast will be an ongoing podcast. You'll have multiple episodes in this podcast series. So we'll be covering all the games, and then we'll probably have some videos on this channel as well. So just make sure that you're subscribing to the channel, make sure that you like the videos, and make sure that you're turning on the bell notification so that you get the first notification for all our uploads. You can also comment down below about what you think about the channel. How can we improve upon the channel since it's the very first podcast? You can also tell us what do you think about our views, what do you think about the games, and what more do you want to see on this channel, and we'll be happy to address them. So with me, I have Rudran Shaunak and Angad Arora, who would be the co-hosts for this particular podcast. And in this particular podcast, we'll be reviewing the games that happened in the last night. Let's start with the very last game of the night, which is Lakers versus Grizzlies. What a game, guys. What a game. I mean, Lakers dominating in the first half. Ja Morant putting the last 20 odd points for the Grizzlies in the whole match, and then that groin punch for Lebron. It was too much happening in that game. So what's your take on the game?
I think it was a beautiful game. I think all of us Lakers fans were really cheering on for the game three. After game two, it was a really disappointing show by Anthony Davis. Lakers were really killed in the paint in game two, and I think there were a lot of sharp opinions afterwards. Dylan Brooks going into LeBron's face, trash talking. He said, "I do not respect you until you put up 40 points. 28 points is nothing to me." He said that, and this is good. "I want to play against prime LeBron. This old LeBron is not good for me. I want prime LeBron. I want to guard prime Miami LeBron." And then, LeBron coming in nonchalantly giving us 25, 9, and 6. I think it was a very easy game for him. He did not have to go into overdrive mode. We did not see a 2018 LeBron game. But at the same point in time, it was enough to really get away with the Grizzlies. I think they were really killing them in the paint. I think not only was their offense bad tonight, Memphis Grizzlies offense, but Lakers were targeting their players. I think Triple J had 2 fouls early on in this game, and both LeBron and AD are very smart players. They understand that, okay, this is a player that has foul trouble. Now we're going to target him throughout the pick and rolls, throughout in the paint. And they knew the weaknesses. They knew not only the weaknesses, but I saw that graphic too, right? It's been more than 370 days since the last home playoff game for Lakers. And you could see it in the crowd. You could see it that the Lakers fans and the Lakers players really wanted it. I think Rudraj was there with me play by play as we were watching this game. And Rudraj, you had a couple of things to say about this game, right?
Oh yeah, this was like obviously the best game of the night for sure, and like Srijan said, so much happening, so much. You expected the antics from Dylan Brooks, but uh, I watched LeBron go up to him pre-game and say something to him, and he already gave him some sort of a warning or something, and he was like, "Watch out for this." But I love the fact that LeBron did not engage in that 40-point conversation. He didn't address the media about it. He didn't try to like shoot the Lakers out of the game, just trying to prove a point, because he already knows he's up there with the best of the best, and he's one of the best players to ever play the game, and he does not need to engage with the likes of Dylan Brooks. So overall, an amazing game, holding the Grizzlies to just 9 points in the first quarter. That was amazing to see. Lakers were having like second chance opportunities, both with the offensive rebounds, and they had like really good fast break because of their amazing defense. I saw one possession where like first I think Vanderbilt blocked somebody, and then AD blocked somebody, and then AR-15 had a deflection in the same possession, back to back to back. So it was amazing defense to begin with, and they just jumped on the Grizzlies and they never gave them a chance to get back in the game. And I think for me it was the defense, and additionally, like you said, LeBron quietly gave that good game, even though he did not have that statement 40-point game. But right from the beginning, they had a very quick start. The Lakers played fast today, and they didn't let the Grizzlies have a set defense. And due to that, JJJ was in a foul trouble early in the game, and they had to sit him in the second quarter. And yeah, for the most part of the game, the Grizzlies had no offense other than Ja Morant. Ja Morant was carrying them, and he had his 40-point game. So he had his numbers, but it was still it was never really a game because the Lakers were always in control.
I mean, it was wonderful to see how Lakers were completely in control. Like Rudad said, I mean, they were not panicking at all, right? They knew from the start that it was their game, because if you see if you saw the game, it was beautiful. And in the starting, it was LeBron who was firing from the paint and making sure that he's putting on the points with putting in the dunks and making sure that he's getting majority of the points. If you see the second half, we saw AD come up and converting LeBron's layups and putting them in, and also we saw AD take 2 3-pointer shots and making one of them. And it was just a statement to see that Lakers were completely in control and they got a lot of space and they utilized the space a lot more. I mean, AD getting 2 completely open threes, which was very nice, and that other players also contributing, in Rui Hachimura scoring a couple of points, and not a couple of points, great amount of points. Austin Reeves and other players as well chipping in, which showed that LeBron and AD and the Lakers were completely in control of the game. They did not think that it was going anyway. I mean, it was also a testament that the Grizzlies could not probably score as much. I mean, the Grizzlies never looked in control except Ja Morant putting up 22 points in a row for the Grizzlies in the last quarter, and I think so that is to show that only Ja who had the grit to probably go and score in that particular game and was able to score that particular game. That's just a testament of how good the Lakers defense was in the game as well.
For sure. I think that even in one of our bloopers, I was talking to Sridhan and we were trying to figure out who was Sridhan's favorite player. And Sridhan pointed out that it was no longer Austin Reeves, but rather Rui Hachimura. And, there's still a lot to be had from some of these Lakers players. I think D'Lo was really trying to, force some shots up. He was not having the best day of his night. I think JV had a brilliant game defensively and through the glass, but not really an offensive weapon at all.
Oh man, did you watch that block?
Yeah,
I was like, that was a crazy block.
Yeah, so
who is that on?
I think it was,
That was like
John
a
Conchar.
7-footer block. Oh yeah, yeah.
So
But that was crazy. That was like a who is that? That was a block like who's the big puffy guy? The number 1 pick?
Zion.
Zion. That
Zion
was like a
Williamson.
Zion kind of a block.
Yeah, JV and AD both had 2 steals each, 3 blocks each. LeBron had a couple of steals. I think defensively they were in focus, but Rui coming in 60% from the field, 100% from 3. I saw a stat that he is still over 3 playoff series with at least the 50 plus 3-pointers attempted. He has the highest field goal percentage over 3, which is like 67 or 70%, I think, after this game, which is insane. But even through an Austin Reeves slow game, he was not driving as much. There were a lot of dump-off kick, drive and kick passes to Reeves, to Malik Beasley. They still managed, I mean, did not need those points. They were able to control the Grizzlies. And on the Grizzlies side, I think it was really a testament to how they can't create anything in the open court. So after, I think, first quarter, Desmond Bain was really, really struggling. Jaren Jackson already had those fouls. He was not looking for anything in the paint, right? And then after that, Ja was really battling in and he got a lot of foul calls. Some of them may be a bit over the roof. I didn't think they were really foul calls, but he did get them. But the man of the match for the Grizzlies was for sure not on the good side, but Dylan Brooks. He was trying to shoot them out. He was trying to shoot them off the court. Sure. He was 3 for 13, ended up getting ejected, got that flagrant 2. We were just talking about these things, right? Draymond Green obviously got a flagrant 2 a couple of games back, and so did what do you call it? Joel Embiid almost got a flagrant 2, and Harden got a flagrant 2. Nicholas Claxton got ejected. We've had a lot of problems over these 2 games with suspension. Do you think that this was a fair call? And do you think that there is a suspension deeming for Dylan Brooks for the next year?
Oh yeah, I think so. If we're thinking about things like if it's supposed to be called evenly, then for sure, like if Dylan Brooks matches every kind of category that Draymond does, right? He's even got the history to back things up. Now they would not have any other excuse to not give him a suspension, and there was clear intention. It was worse according to me because you went to the private region. Like there was not even a basketball player. There was with Draymond, at least he was being held, but with him there is no excuse, right? And he's done that over and over again. He's injured players in the past. He's done this on purpose over the years. So I think he deserves the suspension.
I think so. Their NBA should have some rules regarding the flagrant fouls and regarding suspensions about how many times can a player get a suspension in a season, probably, or in a playoff series as well. Because I don't think so. That's something that exists at the moment. Because I mean, if a player is committing a flagrant foul again and again, there should be a mechanism wherein the player probably gets benched for a couple for a series, for example, or would not be allowed to play half a season if it is happening time and time again, if you've seen for the future, because it will be very dangerous for the players. And that is not what NBA needs to show its viewers as well, since it's trying to expand its viewership. I think so. That's something not fair. Like the foul that happened today did not have to do anything. It's just that it was him against LeBron, and he just gave it away. And I think so. Yes, the suspension is something that needs to come up.
I think especially after the NBA sets a precedent with the Draymond Green foul, I think after that
Right.
76ers Nets game, I think there is a
Good.
lot to be desired, especially in this. There have been some calls that have gone here or there, but this one, I think, since the NBA has set a precedent, it's going to be looked upon more clearly now. Uh, yeah, banding towards,
But like
yeah, sorry.
just quickly getting back to the game, like obviously that had nothing to do with the game, and I don't really even like that player because he's more so about the trash talk. It's just about this annoying character that he tries to portray, and he tries to be the villain, but he clearly doesn't have the game to back it up. I mean, some people see it, but personally, I don't see his game good enough to be having as much of the talk as he does. But anyways, like to reiterate, like LeBron really set the tone in the very beginning. That was a masterclass from him. He set the tone, he set the pace for the Lakers and for the game, which set the Lakers up. And as we saw, like they had that crazy 33-9 run in the first quarter and just never looked back from there. And also the AD point. Yeah, AD was really dominant in the second half, especially in that third quarter and down the stretch as well. And that allowed the Lakers to sit LeBron, and they didn't really have to play him that much, which bodes well since like I looked at him in a few possessions that he was in the game, and he looked really tired at defense, and he didn't really want to exert that much effort, which is expected at his age. How much of effort he's trying to give at both ends. I think that bodes well for him, for the Lakers as well, because one thing that you cannot like outmatch him on is his IQ, I think, which has been really handy, and that is what set the tone for them. So I think LeBron responded really well to a lot of chaos and noise, not trying to be the hero, just like by trying to score, because I think he knows at this point that won't help his team. So I think that was a very well-rounded game by all the Lakers, and like you said, Rui contributing again, almost had another 20-point game. So all over, they played really well. There was amazing defense to begin with. They did cool off a little bit on the defensive end, but they made up for it in the offense. And for the first time in this series, I think AD looked dominant,
For sure.
and JJJ was like helpless. So that's the AD that won them that championship in 2020.
sure.
So this might be the good looks for Lakers, I think.
Srijin,
Also, AR getting those offensive rebounds was very, very nice at that moment. I mean, AD and AD and AR both were contributing to the offensive rebounds as well. And AD getting all those rebounds, you also got 10 plus defensive rebounds as well. I mean, that completely helped Lakers seal the game as well.
Yeah, like AD had a double by the halftime, so
Right.
he already had a good game by then. But then he had an offensive burst in the third and the fourth, so that helped the Lakers just ride out that Ja Morant wave of points. So yeah, I think the Lakers played really well, and if they continue, they could honestly finish the series in 5, but they have to play like this, which has been their Achilles heel
For sure.
recently. Like they play one good game and then they really let go on the next one. Like we saw in game 2, they didn't go up for that game. They didn't have that effort. They felt like they had stolen one game and that's what they needed to do, and they were done.
Just from Rudran's point, so just, what do you think, right? Lakers stole home court away from them. Second game, they looked really tired. They looked gassed out. Um, Later on in the series, now it's going to be day by day. It's not going to be a 2-day break for Lakers. How do you feel the series is going to suggest? What area do you think the Lakers need to improve, and what do you think is going to be the series prediction for you?
I think the series prediction for me will be Lakers in 6. I was after the first game, I was like Lakers will win it easily in 4 or 5. But I think so in the second game, like Rudraj said, they gave it away and they did not have the grit. But I also understand that it becomes tiring for these players to play off and play time and time again and give their 100%. But I think so what Lakers needs to really do is control the momentum like they did in this game, right? And expect a lot of so they are getting the contributions. It's not just AD and LeBron carrying the squad, right? They're getting small contributions, making sure that those 15 points contribution turn to 20-point contribution, that those 17-point contribution, that to 23 points contribution. I think so that those things will help them move in the future, because this was a very bad game for Grizzlies, right? But Grizzlies won't be this bad in the next game probably. This game, they did not even come close to Lakers. Like Lakers were in control because of their good things, but also the Memphis Grizzlies were not on point in this particular game. They were not doing their best. Testament to the fact the Jean Morant burst that happened in the end game. So in that case, I think so. LeBron, the Lakers need to push forward. I think so. The best part about them is that they still got some home games, and I think so. The home games will help them get the confidence. And the Lakers fans were crazy today, crazy, right? And even if it was, even it was the if that was the game, right? So in that case, I think so. Lakers can continue this, and they'll hopefully win the series in 6.
Yeah, and to your point on D'Angelo having a rough game, I think he had a relatively really good game as compared to the first 2 games. He didn't have the best shooting night probably, and like you said, he was forcing up some shots. But other than that, I think he had really good assists. He had a really good floor game for as compared to the last 2 games. I think he played really well, and I think it was an overall really good effort by all of the Lakers. Like defensively, offensively, they handled the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies just looked distracted and just really, I don't know where they were, except for Ja Morant, who was playing with a broken hand, and for him, he made like 4 of 6 on threes, which you do not expect. Like he was shooting like really rough from within the arc while he was going off from beyond the arc.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I'm going to be the. Oh, sorry. Rudran, your series prediction.
my series prediction, I think it goes 7.
Oh, wow.
I think it goes 7 because I think Lakers have dropped games before, and I think they might do that again. And I expect the Grizzlies to, I expect Grizzlies to fight back. So I think it might still go 7, considering that the Lakers are really old and like Srijan suggested, they might not be up for back-to-back games. But I never really want to bet against LeBron in a series unless I have to. So I go Lakers in 7.
I'm going to split apart
Playoff
from both of
LeBron
you.
is different.
Yeah.
Playoff LeBron is different.
LeBron surely is different, but I'm splitting apart from you. I'm saying the series is over. Lakers in 5. In the wise words of what Sharon Sharp used to say, you can have a Murray, you can have a Curry, or a McFlurry. Lakers in 5. I'm saying this right now. And talking about forcing shots from D'Angelo Russell, let's go on to the game 2, which was a snooze fest in my opinion, one of the more boring series. But I did not think it would end so quickly. We're talking about 76ers and Nets. 4-game series. Game 4, no Embiid. A lot of antics in the game. Game 3 had a couple of flagrant twos. Had a ejection from for 2 technical fouls from Nicholas Claxton. A lot going on in this series. Rudash, what was your takeaway from this sweep?
Honestly, I think the Nets didn't have enough talent. They didn't have enough time to gel. They didn't have any chemistry. They didn't have any offense. And I think they lacked size. Plus, I felt like they didn't have enough effort, because if like Melton is getting offensive rebounds, multiple offensive rebounds, then I think you're doing something wrong, because he doesn't have the size, he doesn't have that advantage. So obviously there's an effort disadvantage to the Nets, I think. And to the offense point, I think the coach just went to Mikel and said, just win us games.
For sure.
And I think he came up short. So I think they didn't have any offense. They weren't running any set plays that I could see. At least down the stretch, they had nothing. They were just putting up shots over and over and again, and they couldn't rebound for anything. So the Philadelphia 76ers handled their business. They did what they were supposed to do. They swept them. Good for them, because like Embiid was already injured. But there is still cause for concern if they face Celtics. Embiid needs to be ready game 1. I think if he misses even one game, the Celtics might pounce and the series might be over before Embiid can even come back.
I think so. They'll have their own time since they've won it in 4 games. They'll have a lot of time to chill back, sit back, and look at how they want to proceed with the Celtics game, because Celtics has been dominant throughout the season, right? No, I mean, I think so. I believe that they would be dominant in the next game as well. Just like Rudran said, it could be just over for if Embiid does not come to its best rescue. But talking about the game, I think so. In the end, if you see the two teams, Brooklyn Nets was definitely the weaker on the side, because we not have enough offensive reproduction for the team. Only 4 players are putting in double digits points per game, and then compared to 4 are putting 20 plus games in Philly Sixers, right, and 76ers, right, and then that is, I think so, shows that stat line shows that what kind of offensive production was there from Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers, right. But talking about the game, I was watching the game. It was a snooze fest. It was not good at all, because in the end, you could see the Nets struggling a lot, wherein they were giving up open spaces to the passes. I mean, they were passing on open shots. I don't know what they were trying to do. They were trying to create a lot of plays, but they could not create a lot of plays. It was just like, that you should shoot, or you should shoot, or you should shoot. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to score points. And that was what Brooklyn Nets were basically doing. Not trying to score points, not even trying to get in the game, and just giving away the whole game. It was pretty torturous to watch, to be very honest, in the last game, in the last few months.
Raj is supporting that Brooklyn Nets jersey too.
Oh yeah,
No,
Cancun and 4.
Cancun and 4. I think the problem with the team is that down the stretch they weren't able to run their plays, and when it was part of isolation, they do not have an isolation scorer. I think Mikal Bridges put all he had in his tank for the regular season. I think playoffs him wasn't the best, and game 4 not at all. He was chucking up shots. There was a lot to be desired from it. I think there's a lot to say when Spencer Dinwiddie is the best player on the team for you over a playoff match, especially a win or go home match, right? I think there's a lot to be desired from this team. I think they need someone who can get Nicholas Claxton some open shots, get someone who's running some PNR. And especially, it's not going to be Dinwiddie, especially after that dig from Kyle Kuzma, that 6-tweet rant over the Crypto King and how he is then shitty and all. But the problem for the Nets was, like Rudranshin pointed it outside, right? You let B-Ball Paul, who is a backup center. I know that a lot of 76ers fans really like him, but you're letting him get 15 boards. You're letting Tobias Harris get a double-double. He scored 25 points. And most of his
Tobias was having all he could eat in the paint.
Yeah.
Like there was no defense, there was no offense, there was nothing.
He was getting his fadeaway shots. He was getting to his points. He had a couple of deep hooks where I was like, okay, like this guy was in his bag tonight. He was going off, and there was no one stopping him. And I couldn't understand, like, if you have your best defender in Bridges, who is guarding Harden, who was not having the best night offensively. He was not driving. He was not taking his patent step back threes. I think you should have switched it there. And I think Jaquan was really outclassed by Doc Rivers, who has been a target for a lot of playoff series now. The person with the most 3-1 lone leads, as well as the most 2-0 lone leads. I think Doc Rivers put it in. I think there was a tweet where he said that you know, stop playing with your meat and just get it over with. And that's when the 76ers went on that run and they completely demolished the Nets. So
Ye-
after this,
Another thing, I think Harden. I mean, I would like to know your opinion on it. Like, I watched Harden go to the rack and just not be able to finish within like with contact or with like multiple players down there. Do you think Harden is taking another step like back, and this probably is the best chance they have with him to win?
so I think a couple of weeks back there was a Shams report where they said that Harden is facing some more hamstring injuries and some issues. But as you said, like Harden has been, I saw the graphic that Harden was averaging 8 free throw attempts every playoff series he's played before this, and he did not get to the free throw line once till the third game. So it's a lot to show. Now he was really stepping back and hitting those clutch threes in game one. Game two, they somehow managed to scrape by, so it was good on him. But if they're going to face the Boston Celtics next round, or if they're going to face the Bucks the round after that, I think they really need something or the other, because this Harden is nowhere near. I think Marcus Smart or Derek White is shutting them off completely. I think you're completely right on this point. I think Harden needs to get back some some type of offense back. He's been really nice playmaking wise, but he needs to be an
Oh
offensive.
yeah,
He needs to be an offensive threat. I think he is the third option right now behind Tyrese Maxey, and he needs to step his game up.
yeah. I think Tyrese has that quickness advantage on him at this point of his career, and I think Harden used to be really crafty with his fouls and his like floater game and stuff like that. But lately, he's not even had that. But quickly to another point from the Nets or the Brooklyn side, I'd say, do you reckon they should have played Cam Thomas? Because like, if you remember, like just after the trade, Cam was going off. He was popping off, and then they just stopped playing him.
So the problem, I think, Cam Thomas. So once again, this was said that Cam Thomas was actually drafted by Kevin Durant because he wanted him on his team, and Cam Thomas can get you buckets. If there's one thing that kid can do, he can get you buckets for sure. But at the same point in time, I think what Jaguan wanted in that offense was, I don't know. He wanted to run the plays. He did not want to go through a single isolation player. And at the same point in time, down the stretch, he was relying on Spencer Dinwiddie and
Exactly.
and they were not hitting at all. I think Cam Thomas could have been a spark off the bench at the least and give them something or the other. And at the very least, it's about him getting some minutes, because if he is the part of the core, he needs some minutes in the playoffs and the big games, right? So someone like Austin Reeves
I mean,
in the
yeah,
previous series, he's getting a lot of big time minutes right now, and in a round
yeah.
in a year or two, he's someone who could be a not a grizzled veteran, but he could be a playoff player. He knows how to play the game properly, and Cam Thomas is lacking all these minutes for sure.
Oh, definitely. And like, I mean, to me, what did they even have to lose? Like, they were losing either way. They were gonna go home. They could have given him a try at least. Like, they could have gave the Sixers a different look, but that just didn't happen. But yeah, overall, the series was really boring to me. Like a big snooze fest. No real fight from the Nets, and they were just outmatched, outclassed, like outskilled at this point.
Right. Talking about outclassing, outperforming, let's move to the next game, which is Suns versus Clippers, wherein the Suns were wherein KD was outclassed in the first and second game by Russell Westbrook, wherein he put in the defensive thing forward, and this game was pretty boring, but a lot of things happening. Clippers playing without PG and without Kawhi. How was the game for you guys?
I think the problem was that even though the box score would suggest that this game was neck and neck, I don't think Clippers had any chance after the halftime. I think Westbrook really tried his hardest. I mean, he was going out there. He wanted to show the world. He wanted to show Kevin Durant that he is still the man. And he did that. I mean, he was shooting 50% from three. He was like 17 for 29 from the field, and he was having a terrific game. But early on you saw Norman Powell pick up those two fouls, and after that it was just him being targeted again and again. It was like KD and Devin Booker. As much as I do not like those people, they are smart individuals. They know how to attack the defense and at the most attack people who are vulnerable. Norman Powell has a foot between him and Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant can just shoot over him at any point. And I know that these people are elite bucket getters and they can create their own shots, but they can create each other's shots as well. They've been averaging like 12 plus assists throughout the series, throughout the 4 games, and it really shows that Kevin Durant. When I saw the first game, I was like, he's playing good. He's got his box score, but he is not playing in the flow of the offense. There was a lot to be desired. I think Monty Williams was trying to get him into the matchup and he was trying to play within the offense, but he was just sticking out because he didn't know the plays or there was some problem or the other. But now I think Kevin Durant and Suns are a serious title contender, or at least someone who can really cause harm to any team right now. As much as I hate to say it, because I do not like the antics of Devin Booker at all, and I think Rudra should definitely agree with me on this.
Yeah, I definitely hate the Suns, big time. Like, I think after the Grizzlies, that's the team I hate the most.
Wow.
So yeah, I do not want to seem like a hater. Like, I don't hate on all teams, but those are my two favorite to hate on. But yeah, I think I diagnosed the game very differently. I think the Clippers had a very real chance, and like if they had their 1 or 2 punch, I think this would have been a really different series. And considering how everybody posed the Suns to be so much leaps and bounds ahead of the league, and like with their big three, they were supposed to be the ones that would just outmatch everyone on the box. But it was proved otherwise. I think Clippers fought even today. Last game it was Powell going crazy. This game, like Westbrook has played all 4 games really beautifully. Other than that first game of him like shooting really poorly, I think he had a amazing game even this one. And I think yeah, the Clippers played really well, and they fought. I mean, they came up short, obviously, because they were missing their like two main guys, right? They were missing their 1 and 2 punch. So like, and CP3 iced that game, so you don't expect him to shoot that well from beyond the arc, and yet he did. So you tip your cap to them. Obviously, they played well. That played a part in the Clippers losing. It wasn't so much disappointing as the Nets series, wherein they sort of collapsed in on themselves. Wherein in this, the Suns sort of had to beat them instead of the Clippers just folding. I think the Clippers really tried, and they might still have a chance to extend this series a little bit if either Kawhi or PG can play. But I think that is really unlikely because I just read a report that the timetable for Kawhi is uh, there is no timetable, so
Wow.
he might not return even
Yeah.
in like
That really,
elimination
that
game.
really sucks because game one, while I was watching game one with Kawhi, I thought the role players were doing their part really well. I saw Zubac really kill the glass. He was getting like 16, 17 boards. Other games since game three, he has been really slow. I think Kawhi really put him with all those pick and rolls, attacking. He was getting those offensive rebounds. He was getting the ball a lot more. I think Russell Westbrook,
Yeah, he was getting the role as well.
yeah,
Because like they were doubling Kawhi or like hedging, so he was getting that role as well. So he was getting that rim rock, he was getting those touches, and he was also good on those passes, I think, out of that short role. So yeah, to your point, I think I agree. Uh, they were playing really well, and if even Kawhi had played throughout, I think this would have been a really different series. At least 6 games, at least 6 or 7 games, I'd
and
say.
at the most, I think it's a Houston 2020 problem, right? Where you have to trade Clint Capella to let Russell Westbrook flourish and let Russell Westbrook get to the rim, right? You have to space it out, and having to space it out, you can't play Zubac because Zubac is nothing from anywhere outside 5 feet from the basket, right? And anywhere from
True.
5 feet, he's not getting a shot up. He's not even making the defense get a hand up. So that's the biggest problem. And a few things that I saw with the Suns, a lot of bad body behavior with DeAndre Ayton. Not happy with his touches at point of times. Not happy with Chris Paul. With all that said, and the problem with the bench, I think the bench got like 10 points, even though Devin Booker and Kevin Durant
Yeah,
scoring
they
30,
I
31
agree.
points.
they had to really play their like just starters almost the whole time to sustain that offense and that defense in order to just maintain those leads, and they saw that that was really evident just in the first game. Their bench battle was nowhere near the Clippers. The bench, I think, in trading for KD, I think they are a very light team. They don't have that bench. They don't have that depth, which might come to bite them back in later series with a tougher opponent, with a more whole opponent than like a Clippers team, which is without PG and Kawhi. So I think that might be an issue later on. And I think with DeAndre, do you think this might bubble over into a bigger
For
thing? Because
sure.
if you remember, he left Game 7 to not return, and he had a big spat with his coach,
Monty
and there was
Williams.
a whole thing, and
And
yeah,
his offer sheet was matched by the Pacers, 112 for 4. So I mean, there's a lot to see from the Suns team. We could see DeAndre can be traded for minor pieces. I think Busy, as bad as he has been on offense, he's been holdable on defense, and that's just what you want when you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, right? So, Sritin, I wanted to ask you this, right? Suns obviously lost home court at first, but then went on a 3-game win streak, right? They have home court right now. They have Game 5 at home. Kawhi and PG look questionable at best. What do you think is the outcome of the series?
I think so. It's not. It shouldn't be a problem. It should be a smooth sail for the Phoenix Suns. I think so. They've been producing well offensively. I think so. The team is also working okay in their department, because CP3 is not particularly pulling off a lot of points, but is giving averaging 9 assists a game, which is I think so good for them, because it is giving the other two a lot of space to make the shots, and everyone is not going at the bucket, right? Which makes it very easy for the other two, which are possibly one of the greatest scorers in the game right now. And I think so that is working for them. Not having Kawhi, not having PG, I think so. It is going to be over in the next game. It would be a 4-1 game in 5.
Whoa.
That's what I'm predicting. I think so. It's not surprising for anyone. It's not controversial.
yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think without PG and
I mean,
Kawhi, they might
they
not
would
win
need
another
a
game.
defensive
Yeah.
production like they've never seen before to possibly get into the game, and then it's just Zubac and Russell Westbrook trying to score the points. I think so that wouldn't be enough for them. If you and if Russell Westbrook is also not averaging triple doubles a game, and he's not at the he's playing good, but he's not at the MVP caliber that he used to be in the past. And I don't think so that he would be able to just carry them home and bring them another game. I think so. It's the series is pretty much over. The next game would be just be a formality for the two. It's just that we have to see that how do Suns optimize the next game so that they are ready to take on the Nuggets, which will probably thrash them if they're not at their end. And Nuggets have been absolutely wonderful in the regular season, making the first seed. And I think so. Then the Joker might come into the picture as well, and then it's a lot of things that they have to see. But yeah, in 5 games for sure.
Quickly wanted to touch up on Booker being playing defense and being so locked in. I've never seen Booker so locked in, especially on the defensive end, because we all know he can be an offensive threat. We've seen that with the from ranging from the 70-point game to like all the playoffs that he's played in so far. But to see him so defensively engaged, flying around for like defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, just deflections, steals. He's even like having blocks and stuff. So he's been a menace on defense. I have never really seen a more focused Booker, and I don't think I've ever seen him play so well and not trash talk. So I think he's really locked in this year.
For sure. Diving for loose balls, trying to get those steals. He was in Westbrook's face the entire game. So Rudrash, you were for a 4-1 sweep as well?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, you guys are gen.
Because especially with the news that Kawhi won't be able to, there's no timetable for Kawhi, and I don't really see PG coming up for this series to try and save this. And even if he does, I don't know what kind of shape he is in to try to battle Kevin Durant and the locked in Booker and a CP3 who is hitting from deep. So it's a tough matchup.
Well, I'm going to be spicy here. I think the series goes to 7. I think Suns are going to win this one. I think Westbrook gets you a game. I think Kawhi is going to be back by game 6 at the most. I think they're going to
Woof.
try and get that home court.
If it
Hallelujah.
gets to game
Yeah.
6.
Amen,
If
brother.
it gets to game
Look,
6.
yeah, look, Clippers have their fair share of 3-1 losses, and I'm looking forward to for a 3-1 win, but I think that they can get it to game 7. And what's important is that if the Phoenix Suns, I don't even know if it's gonna be easier for them to have a game 7, so they have another game between the belt of these 4 people, their top 4, or do they want some rest before they go against the juggernaut number 1 seed right now? Because that match is going to be over in a couple of
I
games.
would really argue that you never want to be in a game 7, no matter who you are, and especially for a team that has 2 of their 3 big stars as old as they are. I don't think they want to go down into a 7-game series, because with CP3 you've known how injury prone he can be in long series, so you really want to preserve him. And with Durant coming off of big injuries, you really don't want to see a game 7. And regardless, I don't think you ever want to be in a game 7, because it's just a one game thing, and
And that's
a lot
that's
can
just
change.
what the Suns
game.
did last season too as well.
Exactly, and the Clippers have done their own thing with the 3-1 loss. So it would be a really crazy fight between the two if it goes to that, which I really do want, but I don't
I
see
mean,
it happening.
every fan is hoping for that. Every fan is hoping for an LA derby for the championship, right?
Probably just not the Suns
No,
fans.
just not the Suns fan, but like everyone loves a comeback, but I don't think so that comeback is coming. To be very honest, it's very hard for them. Even if PG comes in the next game, he pulls off another game, then Kawhi probably is questionable for game 6 as well. Right? Even if he comes back, then if it goes to game 7, I think so. Then Clippers have a very good chance of winning it, because in one game wonders. I mean, it's not about who was the better team the whole season or who played the best game. It's about what happens in the
Exactly.
game, and anything can happen in the game, right? It could be one quarter,
Just
one
like
quarter where
I
it's
just like I don't think you ever want to be in a playing game. I don't think you ever want to be in a
right.
game 7, because it's just a one game
For
thing.
sure.
So energies, momentums,
home court
plus like
advantage.
even if this series goes to game 7, all the pressure is on the Suns. The Clippers would be playing with house money, because they were down 3-1, they were down 2 of their stars. How does it matter to them? It's this series is for the Suns to lose at this point. So if it goes to game 7, I'm picking the Clippers.
For sure. I think talking about comebacks is the next next playoff series, and there are a lot of comebacks here. There needs to be a Giannis comeback, but there has been a Heat comeback. Steady the ship, Jimmy Butler, game 3, winning by over 20 points without a Giannis-led box. But at the same point in time, they had a lot of help. Talk me about the series, Shazin.
I mean, it was a very well-rounded match. It's something that we were expecting from Heat, especially not having Giannis around, and much expected stuff from Heat, to be very honest. It was a team effort all around. Kyle, Celeb, Max, Duncan, all be contributing to the same. Held them for under 100. Not of it. I mean, I don't think so. There's enough offense from Giannis' side, from the Milwaukee Bucks side without Giannis. I mean, Giannis is just on a different level in playoffs, right? And that Giannis is unstoppable. Right, so I think so. They'll need to produce a lot more offensive, but and this is something that I was not predicting it to happening. I thought that Milwaukee would have them in themselves without Giannis. Also, they can probably stomp over Heat, but Heat has been unexpected. I mean, this is expected from Heat, but this from me personally, it has been unexpectedly. Heat has been unexpectedly good, and I think so that's what's happening in this game.
I think this is just what happened in game 1, right? We saw Giannis go down, and suddenly, Jimmy Butler hitting every mid-range shot, Max Strus hitting those
Yeah,
3. Tyler Hero was great before he broke his hand at the same point in time.
Oh, yeah,
And
and
it's exactly what happened in this game too. You had Jimmy Butler with 13
Uh-huh.
points. He was assisting. He was going for it. He was going for everything. You had that one Duncan Robinson game that you have in every playoff series with the Heat. You have that one Duncan Robinson game. He's going for 5 for 6 from 3. He's not as bad on defense. And obviously, when you don't have to worry about Giannis and building a wall against Giannis, you have a lot more. You are a lot more chiller on defense, right? And I saw this game and I was like, why is Chris Middleton with all his efficiency, why is he not getting more shots? Why is Brook Lopez throwing at that? He did not take advantage of Kevin Love. Even though Bam was really nonchalant in this game, I think Milwaukee Bucks were open to losing this game. It was an away game. They did not have Giannis and they did not have the fire. I think after the first 5 minutes when that Heat went on that 8-2 run, the game seemed to be over by then for them at all.
Yeah, I think they took the lead in the second quarter and just never looked back, and they pulled the game wide open in that third and that fourth. They just started hammering them down the line, and at that point, Jimmy was out of the game, and they were still killing them. Duncan's had late game even threes. Like you said, I think everyone contributed, but Jimmy set the tone early in the game there, and Miami never looked back. With Bam contributing, they had like 4 or 5 players in double digits. Kyle Lowry had a good game. Uh, Even Love was having a really good floor game. So I think Miami was playing good. But like you said, Duncan had a good game. Do you think this is a cause for concern for Milwaukee going ahead? Uh, a confident Duncan. Um, there's another shooter, like they lost Tyler, but they might have a replacement in Duncan. I mean, he's obviously not the shot creator that Tyler is, but if they can run him off screens, because Duncan hadn't played in a while, and now he's confident with a 20-point game under his belt.
This is what
I
exactly
think
what
yes, that
made
completely
Bucks.
makes a big thing for Milwaukee Bucks, since now the whole team is contributing, right? Unlike what was happening before, that the whole team is contributing, whole team is up to it, whole team shows the grit. And Duncan Robinson, yes, would be a dangerous man for Milwaukee.
I think
And just to add to that, do you think, Angad, do you think it is a must win the next game? Because
for sure.
the Bucks don't want to go down 3-1.
For sure.
So do you think that Giannis has to play even if he's like slightly injured, if he's not 100%? Do you think Giannis comes back?
Yeah, for sure. I think Giannis has to come back for this game. I think game 2 was more of a nonchalant Milwaukee Bucks game, but at the same point in time, they managed to win that game, right? And that put the confidence in their head that, all right, we can get away with Giannis not playing another game, and that's where they made that mistake. I think if you look at the game logs, Jimmy Butler just playing 30 minutes, and Udonis Haslem getting minutes in his 50th season in the NBA, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like by the end, it was really wide open, and everyone was just
Right, it
chilling
was all
in
this
Miami, I
garbage
think.
time, right? So, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, all of these players are going to be fresh for the next game. You know how competitive Jimmy is. He's always going for it. You have that 2 years ago in that bubble run where Jimmy completely
Second coming of Jordan.
exactly, he mishandled everyone. I mean, Giannis wasn't even the best player on the Bucks then. I think when Chris Middleton was just far superior to him, I think building the wall really worked. I think Miami has that kind of a team where you can build the wall. They have strong and then the wings. You have Bam, you have Jimmy, even Kevin can give
Yeah.
you some minutes
I think they
guarding.
feed off of their defense as well. Like their offense feeds off of their defense. And another point I would like to bring up is that they held the Bucks again below 100, and they've won again. So, which has been a key for them, that whenever they hold their opponents below 100 points, I don't remember the exact graphic, but that's a really good start for them. And they are generally good when their defense is clicking. So this might be cause for concern in Milwaukee, I think. I think the Bucks have to take them seriously at this point, and if Giannis does not come back, I don't think the Bucks have enough offense.
For sure.
But another unfortunate issue was another injury in the series. This series was already been plagued with like massive injuries to big stars, and now Oladipo getting injured in garbage
Not just
time on a
fast.
non-contact play, and like I feel really sad for him, since like he's such a good guy, and he plays so hard, and he tries to compete so well, but like obviously that big injury in Indy, and then trying to make his way back up with the Heat, and he gets injured again. He was having such a good game before he got injured. Like it wasn't all that stat stuffer, but he was having a really nice overall
His
game.
last pre-injury season, he was not only he was a All-Star, but he was second team All NBA, and he was second team All Defense. So it really puts into show what kind of a player he was, and that injury really screwed him up. He declined that extension from Pacers. He was getting 110 mil for 4 years, and then he bet on himself to go to the Heat. Played on a vet minimum 2 million contract. Then took a mid-level 5.76 million extension this season, and he's just not looked the same since. We have players like Joe Ingles who's playing on the Bucks. He had most probably career-ending injury with Utah, but he came back and he's looked. I mean, he's not looked to prime Joe Ingles, but he is making his waves. He's getting those 10 points. He's playmaking a bit. So I'm hoping the same for Victor Oladipo. I know that he's probably never going to be on that stature again where he was when he left Indy, but maybe somewhat be a better player than Kyle Lowry, take his place out of that six-man role, and probably ripple up here to more than what the seventh seed was, because this season was really disappointing for them. The playoffs have been nice, but this season has been disappointing for them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And like I think Oladipo brings a different thing to Miami than Kyle Lowry. Lowry is more so the playmaker and like the offense kind of the guard, right? And Oladipo brings a defensive approach to Miami, and I think he focuses more so like that, like the way Russell is playing right
Yeah,
now for the
for sure.
Clippers. He's more so focusing on the defense, the steals, the deflections. It's the guarding that he was doing, which might have been handy in this series, and if they possibly make it past this series, then the next series. But that looks like a serious injury, and I think Oladipo is out for this season.
For sure. What is going to be the series prediction for you guys?
Oh, I think this series goes to at least 6 games. Uh, Possibly. I think it goes 7. With the way that Miami is playing, I think Giannis being injured, he might not be 100%, but he might try to play through it because we know he's tough and he's done that before. So I think he comes back, but I think he's not 100%, and Miami just might take the next game. And even if they don't, all the pressure is on the Bucks to win.
According to me, I
Shalin, what
think
do you
so.
think?
It's Bucks in 7. I mean, Miami have been looking pretty. They are not giving away games easily. And if to be very honest, Milwaukee hasn't looked his best this particular series, right? And having Giannis injured, I think so. Giannis coming back will make things a lot better for them. But I think so. It will be very, very, very tough for them to get their game through. Again, if Giannis comes back and gets injured again, that's a bigger problem for the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think so that would play into pushing a game 7. But I think so Milwaukee should be comfortable, not comfortable, but should get the game in 7.
I don't want to be the one who's getting all the spicy takes, but I think Miami Heat is fooling you guys. I think both the games that they've won without Giannis, obviously, but they've been shooting lights out from three. I don't think you get another Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Max Strus game all together. Um, uh, uh,
That's
60%
fair.
3-point game from all three of them. I think Kyle Lowry is gassed. He is not as fit as he used to be when he won that 2019
Oh,
ring.
for sure, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 6-game series for the Bucks. But transitioning from Bucks, we have 4 really important games tonight. One of them not so much, but 3 other games we have the Knicks versus Cavaliers. We have the Warriors versus Kings, who we have a resident Warrior fan here. We have the Timberwolves. We have the Timberwolves versus Nuggets. And we have another game which I cannot for the life of me remember, but give me a second, I'll let you
Boston
know.
versus Atlanta.
Guys, yeah, Celtics versus Atlanta. So, guys,
Oh, that's a
yeah,
spicy one.
what do you think is going to be the most interesting game tonight?
Oh, for me, the Warriors Kings for sure. Like I have that bias, but I think, like you said, 3 out of the 4 games are really to look out for. Obviously, the Timberwolves games is nothing to watch for. I think they don't have the fight in them, and I know, like the Nets, I think they'll fold, and they're not really a playoff team, so I think they're not gonna even put up a fight.
Wow.
But other than that, I think Atlanta, uh, they won one game. Uh,
Cheers.
DJ showed out, yeah, But I think the Celtics take the series in 5.
Oh,
I don't really see them winning another one as well. But for me, for sure, Kings versus Warriors would be the big game.
What would be your predictions for the game, Rudransh? Let's take predictions for the 4 games and then let's come back tomorrow and see whether we were right or what happened.
Okay, I think Celtics take the
Right.
game
okay.
and bring out the brooms, gentlemen. It's a sweep for the Timberwolves.
Wow.
Warriors even it up with 2-2 going back to Sacramento. And what was the
Cleveland
fourth
versus
one?
Cavs.
Oh, Cavs. I think Cavs even up the series 2-2.
All right.
Okay. What do you think, Angad?
It's good. It's going to be interesting game for sure because Cavs and Knicks has been a bloodbath, man. And it's at Knicks home ground. We know how Madison Square Garden is on a playoff night.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that Hawks series and Trae Young saying how
Oh, yeah.
quiet it was and all those antics. I'm looking forward for that game, but I am predicting a big Donovan Mitchell game tonight. I'm expecting he's going at least 40 points tonight. I'm taking a W for the Cavs tonight. And I'll go spicy once more. I say the Sacramento get this game
Yeah.
tonight. I think Draymond back
Oh.
will not make any difference for the Kings. I think De'Aaron Fox is the clutch player of the year and he's going against him. I think Malik Monk is giving them buckets. I think Kevon Huerter has been the man. Even though he's not played really well in the playoffs, he's been really good for them throughout the season. And I think DeMar Sabonis is stomping his way back into the paint and he's getting a triple double.
I see what you did there. Stomping his way back in
He's
it.
stomping his way back in. He's going for his triple double. He wants to show he's better than his dad, Arvidas Sabonis, and he's going. And for the last game, I love Jokic, and even though I love Jokic, I think he's going to have like a 10, 15, and 7 game, and they're still easily going to win. I think Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are going to ease in. I think Ant is not going to have the same game. He's had 2 games in a row. He's been averaging like 38 in this playoff series, which is absolutely crazy. You can see shades of, when he came through the draft, there were a lot of Michael Jordan 23 comparisons, but I think you can
This
see
is
the
the
shades,
thing.
but he is not ready yet. I think it's a sweep. It's the second sweep. Both the MVP big men get their sweeps. Giannis still looking forward for this playoff season, but I think, those are my predictions for the next game.
I think so. I pretty much agree with what Angad said. I think so. The Cleveland will be getting this game. Cleveland have been looking gritty, and I think so. And I'm predicting them to win this with the series in 7 as well. So I think so that they will probably clutch in the game. Again, Kings versus GSW. I think so. GSW has been unbeaten at home against the Sacramento Kings, and will continue the same thing. Will win the 4th game at home. I mean the 4th game at home.
But wait, I thought you were a Sacramento fan because you lit the beam.
No.
Light the beam!
That color back in the background is for Lakers, not for Sacramento Kings. So that's why. So I think so they'll get this game, right? And then in Boston versus Atlanta, I am again going with Boston. I think so Boston will comfortably sweep this way home. And in the last game, it's obviously a sweep for the Nuggets. I think so the Nuggets have played beautifully, have outclassed their opponents, and I think so that outclassism will show in the next game as well. But yeah, that is my predictions. Let's get back tomorrow and see what happens with our predictions. Who's right, who's wrong. But with that said, I think so we've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the podcast. It was lovely having an interaction with these two people, Angad and Rudransh. I mean, it was very insightful. It was a very insightful podcast for me particularly, and and you guys as well, because there are a lot of things that we talked about. There are a lot of things that are happening in NBA. Just stay tuned for a lot more podcasts, a lot more videos on this channel. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the notification bell so that you get the notification for our all our videos. And also don't forget to comment down below what was the best part of the podcast. What do you think we can do more? What do you think? What sections do you want to see in the podcast more? But yeah, till then, thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.
Warriors in 6.